top 10 Gooby Woobies. Number 10, we got Goopoo Loopoo. He's hella funny. Then we got Stoopoo Doopoo. What a goat. Then we got Goopy. He's a menace. Don't let his appearance fool you. Then we got TJ Crean. What a beast. Then we got Mr. Denmark. Love him. No list is complete without Glub Tubbis Weppel. Then we got Mr. Dubstep. Oh, it's Gub Gub. I love Gub Gub. Then we got Aaron. And this guy.
Good morning, sweet world, and welcome to the No Dunks podcast on the Athletic Network. It's Monday, May 22nd, 2023. Happy Victoria Day, I'm J.E. Skeets here in the Classic Factory, and alongside me, as always, Tass Mellis.
Podcast listeners, this is for you.
Next to him, it's the bearded one, my top shot hot boy, Trey Kirby.
Ayo.
Ayo. And last but not least, over yonder, making the magic happen, super producer JD.
Hello.
There he is. Here we are, JD. What was that?
I'm not
that
sure.
cold open? Okay.
I don't know.
Oh, okay. I didn't know if I was not understanding the references.
The Glooby Woobies?
I guess not.
Just some random shit on a Monday morning.
I'll say. It was sort
Pig
of,
talk.
It was making me anxious. The music.
Yeah, I know. It's
was
backwards.
unsettling.
It's like going backwards, I think.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, shout out to the stream team joining us live right now on YouTube. We love to see it. Hit the like button, subscribe. Get your No Dunks merch over at nodunks.com. We got a new Is This Good podcast from our guy, Matty O, along with JD, talking to Norm Sousa from NFL on Fox, a former colleague of ours way back in the day, up in the... well, wait, hold on. Did he ever work at the Score?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
wow. After I was saying it out loud, I'm like, did he work there or did we just know him through people that work there? But yes, okay.
Yeah, he worked there.
Former colleague Norm Sousa. Anyway,
Official colleague.
these guys discuss getting drunk on stage, eating nachos for laughs, using fireworks indoors, sharing your body count with your partner, as you see there on the graphic, and a whole lot more. So it's quite the topics there that you guys get into on ITG. I'm excited.
Yeah, it was a good one. Good one. We haven't really talked to Norm in like 10 years, so it was kind of like a weird reunion.
Right.
Yeah.
The getting drunk on stage, that used to be his old show he did in Toronto. I saw that one night where he would, along with a buddy, drink a case of beer.
24 beers.
24 beers, made
And-
2 for.
Yeah, with a guy eating nachos in the background. They always had, like, remember that?
Yeah,
Like,
he was drinking tea. He was
Yeah,
eating
yeah.
nachos and drinking tea.
Weird combo.
Yeah.
It was a very funny show.
He talks about that in the
Oh.
episode. It's great.
All right, I'm going to be checking.
Yeah, he explains why they stopped doing it, and it's a great reason. So tune in to find out
Their liver?
that, among other things.
Okay.
But there was an incident. So
All right.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. There's your tease for ITG. Go check that out. It's on YouTube and podcast feed. We also have some breaking news here right before we went live. One of the greatest scorers in NBA history, Carmelo Anthony, Melo, has officially announced his NBA retirement after 19 years in the NBA. Again, this happened right before we went live. Let's talk about it on tomorrow's podcast. Let's do a deep dive on Melo's career.
Deep dive. We're ranking every one of his career NBA games
Okay.
in order.
And his hats.
And his hats.
All right.
It's going to be a long show. But he had a long career, so it's worth it. I guess when he showed up at the Knicks game and they called him officially a legend, that's when we knew.
Yeah, writing was on the wall. Yeah, he had released a little video here this morning. A well-produced goodbye video.
That was probably started before he was at the Knicks games.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
I've been working on it. So we'll talk Melo on Tuesday's podcast because we got some conference finals to discuss. Both of them 3-0. They could be over by Tuesday. Hell, we might do a whole week on Melo.
Mellow week.
We got a lot of time to fill, possibly. Let's start with last night's Game 3 of the Eastern Conference Finals. The Heat crushed the Celtics. 128-102. They're up 3-0, 1 win away from another trip to the NBA Finals. Where do you want to start?
Yeah, well, I know NBA fans are a little bummed here seeing 2 3-0 conference finals, but let's not be like the Celtics today and just not give an effort.
Mail it in?
Yeah, let's not do that. Let's at least be like the Lakers. You know, let's at least put forth an effort here in Game 3.
Not expecting much from the C block, I guess, huh?
Well, we got it. No, what do we mean? What do you mean?
I got a tweet about the All-Star game. I'm fucking mailing it in.
We're going on a big run at the end of the C block, so stay tuned for the jokes.
Yeah. Not expecting much. They're going to be 150-0. Those teams 3-0. Listen, I got faith in the C block. I got no faith in the Boston Celtics. Though.
Yeah, okay.
That was a sad second quarter, especially, and into the third quarter. Look, on the one side, the Heat have beaten the life out of the Boston Celtics. They came back after losing in 7 games last year in the conference finals. It was obviously weighing on their mind every single day. And look at this team. Look at this team with the 3 scoring leaders last night in Game 3 for the Miami Heat, undrafted players. Pretty freaking bonkers. A guy like Gabe Vincent, who led the team in scoring with 29 points, didn't even know if he had necessarily had a role in this playoffs until Tyler Herro went down, and he became such a prominent guy, and just shows you the coaching of Eric Spoelstra. It gives an assignment to a guy like Gabe Vincent. Obviously, if they drop, you're shooting that 3, but he's also grown into a guy who can snake and hit those pick-and-roll shots. He had a terrible regular season. Duncan Robinson, where the hell did he come from? What a second quarter for him, driving and dishing. I mean, he looks so phenomenal. And that second quarter, I mean, I know the Boston Celtics have just fallen apart in this series, and it doesn't really say anything about what's going to happen in the offseason, but the Jaylen Brown scenario in that second quarter, I mean, that's got to be the worst quarter of his career, I would say, just on both ends being embarrassed, how Bam spun on him and he fell. Butler backed off him and he fell again. Couldn't catch it at the 3-point line. Airballed a shot from the 3-point line just before half. That was a terrible quarter for Jaylen Brown. I know everybody on Grant Williams for poking the bear in Game 2, but at least there was some fight there. He may have poked the bear and caused a Jimmy waterfall there at the end, but at least there was some fight. And anyway, I think this goes back to last year. It's a little like what the Spurs did to the Heat, way back when. Stun the brain. That's a decade ago. And yeah, they're waiting for it, obviously, because man, they sucked the life out of this team.
Gabe Vincent, career high 29. Duncan Robinson 22. Caleb Martin, who apparently J. Cole got to Miami. That's the story coming around now. He's like, I don't know if there's going to be a role in this league for me. J. Cole's like, let me call Miami. Let me talk to Karan Butler. Maybe get you a tryout. Yeah.
What?
And so he's there. Scoring 18 in a Game 3 has been amazing throughout this series. Yeah. They got beat by a guy named Gabe, a guy named Duncan, and a guy named Caleb last night. The Celtics gave up. You're right, Tass. Maybe galaxy brain thinking, though. In the first 2 games of the series, Boston's fourth quarter offense was the major problem. Not of a concern in Game 3 when you're down 30 in the fourth quarter.
That's a
and
great
it's
point.
A wrap. So that can't be the narrative.
That's a great point. And I mean, silver lining for the Celtics, they won the fourth quarter in Game 3. So they've won 4 out of the last 8 quarters against the Miami Heat. They are down 3-0, though, so I do sense a bit of a problem for the Celtics. What a disappointing performance. You say the second quarter, but man, the third quarter equally as disappointing for the Celtics to come out after the way the first half ended and completely mail in the third quarter. They looked terrible. I mean, you had to know it was over when Duncan Robinson was throwing an alley-oop to Bam Adebayo. And it looked like Robinson had a lefty layup. I can't believe this guy's taking anybody off the dribble. But then to throw the oop to Bam right down the middle of the lane. Bam had an awesome game. It felt like he was just trying to rub it in. The Celtics' faces trying to dunk every single time he had got the ball in the lane. I guess Omer Yurtseven now has more fourth quarter baskets than Jason Tatum does in this playoff series. Unbelievable stuff. I mean, the leading scorer for the Celtics yesterday had 14 points. Jason Tatum had 14 points. Him and Jaylen Brown combined to go 12 for 35 from the field. It's just been a completely disappointing performance from those two guys. And then for the rest of the Celtics as well. Allie LaForce had that report in the third quarter. That was maybe the saddest report you've ever heard in the middle of a game. In the middle of a must-win game. The Celtics were still sort of at least close enough that they could have made this a game. And Allie LaForce reports, nobody is talking in the huddle. Everybody is completely depressed except for Al Horford, who is apparently now the coach of this team. Weird stuff going on for Boston, and the fact that they're going to go out the way they're going out, things are going to have to change for the Celtics, because this is disappointing. Everybody that's losing in the playoffs, it's like their worst possible playoff loss. It's crazy stuff.
Yeah, Boston at the start of the second half got the lead down, I throw that in air quotes, to 12. Marcus Smart had that 3-point play, right? He hit the shot, got fouled. That was the start of the second half. And then it was Miami. They just ripped off a 28-7 run. They opened up a 33-point lead, and it was a wrap. And you know when, guys like Marcus Smart aren't really showing much fire in the belly there. He had sort of given up. Horford, your vet, you just to see it on their faces, their body language. Your stars are both struggling, have no answers against this zone whatsoever. They just can't figure out how to beat a zone. It's like the first time they've ever seen it, it feels like, even though they've seen it for years from this Miami team. And then there's the whole rookie coach, Joe Mazzulla, part of it, and starting Derek White and, going away from the bigs and stuff like that. And then his quotes after. He said, quote, "I just didn't have them ready to play, whatever it was, whether it was a starting lineup or an adjustment. I have to get them in a better place, ready to play. That's on me." He was really trying to, take the blame suddenly for this very disappointing Game 3 from them in a must-win because it's a wrap now.
Yeah, but it's not about rotations, really, when this team just doesn't show up. Sure, you can, look around the edges and examine all that, but the Heat just, beat the will out of this Boston Celtics team. Full stop. This is all about the Miami Heat. I'm not sure, like you mentioned, probably the worst loss for a bunch of these guys. And to me, watching Jaylen Brown in that second quarter, I couldn't help but think of guys leaving their teams, like LeBron in 2010. I'm done. I mean, just the way the body language is, is this foretelling of what the heck is going to happen with this team in the offseason? It's possible, sure, but it really comes down to Jimmy Butler leading that team. A 14-point win, a 14-point performance for him. How do they win this game with him just scoring 14? Well, Spoelstra, you got to give him credit for having guys doing what they have to do exactly on each and every possession.
Yeah, that's it. They don't take any single play off. Whatever guy comes in there is exactly at least trying to
Pop-like. Yeah. I mean, that's what Pop did. Mentioning that Spurs team that came back after the Heat beat them in 2013. I mean, that is a hallmark of a Pop team, and that's a hallmark of a Spoelstra team. Again, the undrafted guys, the coachable guys, each and every possession. It's wild to see, Duncan doing what he was doing and Gabe doing what he's doing after this terrible season for him. It's amazing, really.
They had another starter get hurt in this game. Kevin Love went out with an ankle injury 5 minutes into the game. And I mean, Kevin Love is the fifth most important starter on the Heat, but still a starter who's been playing minutes. They don't have a super deep team. And he went out, and nobody was who cares? Concerned at all. You're okay, whoever comes in is going to play better anyways. And Cody Martin came in. He scored 18 points. He's been the best wing in this series. And there's 2 All-NBA wings on the other side. I guess Jimmy Butler probably also a candidate for that as well, but he's so transcendent in this series that it was hilarious at halftime. You had Barkley basically trashing the Celtics, talking about no mental toughness 100% correctly, and he calls out Jason Tatum. He's like, number one player in a game like this, no way I would have 9 points at halftime. Jimmy Butler had 9 points at halftime, but it didn't matter at all because everybody else on the Heat shows up in every single moment.
Tatum 6 of 18, Jaylen Brown 6 of 17. So is it too soon to start looking ahead to the Celtics offseason here? And what is the game plan? Is it as simple as bring in a new coach? See you later, Joe Mazzulla. Sorry about the extension. Is it this idea of we're not giving Jaylen Brown nearly $300 million? We don't believe in a Tatum Brown to take us to the promised land. We pivot off of that. Is it just around the edges? Do you have an opinion?
Well, I will just on the Kevin Love thing briefly, because it ties into coaching. Kevin Love signaled to the bench, "Hey, I'm hurt," early in the first quarter, and then he ran up and down, and they didn't go out
there for more possessions.
Yeah.
The guy that they game planned for in a way by going small because they thought they could go at Kevin Love a little more. That's what we talked about pre-series, and I think that's definitely one thing you can ridicule Mazzulla about. Why not go at him possession after possession? And the Heat are going to recover, but still, you should be able to pass out of that and get a good shot. And that's what the Celtics were lacking in this series. They just were lacking trusting each other. I'm already using the past tense. How the hell can you not? They didn't trust each other. And going into the offseason, something large has to change. They do play there's no urgency. So I guess that's coaching. I mean, sometimes it's hard to tell what a coach does in this league, but when you look at what the Heat are doing, that's what a coach does, and that's why there's two good coaches here at the end, him and Malone, who have gotten the most out of their teams.
Yeah, the glaring difference between the Celtics team of past is, to me, like, there is no defensive, like, backbone anymore. Like, how did that disappear? Because it's basically the same team. Obviously, the coach has changed, so how significant was that? And maybe even the assistant coaches like Will Hardy leaving. But it's like, that's the thing. It's like, we know their three-point shooting comes and goes, and, you know, Tatum can have these 6 of 18 games, and we know Jaylen Brown's got no handle. None of that's new. Marcus Smart, feast or famine with him in terms of offensive production. But it's like, where's the defense? When Duncan Robinson is cooking you, driving to the rim, when all these other guys, when Cody Zeller is like still like out hustling you and dominating, it's like they could always rely on their defense to at least keep them in games. Win series, obviously helping them over the last couple of years to get to conference finals and even the finals last year. But that is like, where is that? And sometimes defense is like, we got to just try obviously harder, and we want to like back up each other. And has that disappeared from this team? The exhaustion of that, I don't know.
I feel like it's a fundamental misreading of the identity by Joe Mazzulla. They were a defense-first team last year. We talked all the time, this could be the best defense we've ever seen in NBA history. By efficiency measures, it was. They had the Defensive Player of the Year. They had another Defensive Player of the Year candidate. And then that guy came off the bench for the entire season. Derek White made an all-defense team. Somehow the Celtics finished third in defense this year, but it wasn't the same.
Yeah.
Grant Williams basically relegated to the bench. He was instrumental in their success last year. So I feel like Mazzulla came in, he said, we need to fix the offense because the defense will be fine. You got to continue to work on the defense, and the Celtics obviously didn't, and then they were exposed by the Heat. The Heat hung 128 on them last night. The Heat have been the best offensive team in the Eastern Conference somehow out of nowhere, which is a little bit of them playing rope-a-dope during the season, but also like they're getting wide open looks from the Celtics just trying to do everything on their own. That three-pointer from the top of the key from Max Strus, where there was a triple team on Jimmy Butler, insane stuff, and that's basically Marcus Smart deciding to freestyle because he needed to make a play. Smart hasn't been the same player defensively this year, didn't finish as a finalist for Defensive Player of the Year after winning the award last year, and he's been elevated to me as an offensive player. Very weird stuff. So it just seems to me like the Celtics lost who they are when they lost Ime Udoka in the summer.
And they had, as you said, the third best defense this year, but it came down to a team really exposing them here in the conference finals to show that they have lost that identity. It started in game one where they were switching everything and Robert Williams was just sort of allowing Jimmy Butler to roam wherever he wanted and get really comfortable. They just weren't hitting. I mean, just this, the simple old stuff of they got to feel us. Nobody was feeling the Celtics, even though they had a good defensive record and were good enough. But when you game plan and are able to, just run. I mean, freestyling on both ends. Like the Heat were able to just get to spots, weren't being felt. And that's why the Celtics were so good last year in the opening round when they swept the Brooklyn Nets. I mean, they were just all over KD and Kyrie, all over them. And here, the arms aren't out there. I mean, they're just not all over these guys whatsoever. So the Heat have just felt comfortable and more comfortable and more comfortable as the series has gone on.
And what would be your game plan for a Celtics off season here? What would Trey have like in order of like, okay, get rid of the coach or move off of Jaylen Brown or try and get a real point guard to sort of run offense or bigs or what would you do?
I would do all of it. I mean, I think Brown has to come back. The guy's still a great player. He's still an all-NBA guy. You would rather have him on your team than not, and I think make him turn down $300 million to go somewhere else if he really wants to, because if you sign him, you can trade him later on because Jaylen Brown is still going to have an awesome regular season, I'm assuming, at the start of next year. I have been out on Smart for a long time. I've said for a long time he's going to take you as far as that. The Celtics will go as far as Marcus Smart can take them. This team, to me, plays like a bunch of Marcus Smarts out there. So I would go for something steadier. Al Horford, he's getting old. Luckily, his contract is pretty small, starting next season, only $10 million in 24, $9.5 million in 25, but he's going to be 37 at the beginning of next year. He wasn't quite the same player defensively. Shot the ball a lot better this year, but as we were talking about, the Celtics need to be based on the defensive end. So, I don't know. This same team has been around, it feels like, since basically 2018. That's a long run in the NBA. So I would tinker around Tatum and Brown still, because I think they are a great duo, but the mix of high volatility players around them just does not work.
Mindful that Al Horford had called and directed a timeout signal toward the Miami bench in Game 1 when the Celtics were rolling there. Jimmy Butler did the same last night to Horford as the Heat were running away in the third quarter last night. This guy doesn't forget a thing. Any thoughts on Jimmy's exaggerated timeout call to Al Horford right to his face as he was coming back sort of towards the bench?
Yeah, I mean, that was awesome. It was awesome. We're going to make a short eventually, I can tell already, of the best Jimmy Butler trash-talking moments just from this playoffs. I forgot about Al Horford calling a timeout on the Heat, but not Jimmy. Like, what's the deepest slight he will go to?
Oh, man.
There's got to be some real deep cut he's going to pull out after Game 4. If they pull off the sweep, somebody will have said something post-game last year. I'd be like, oh, yeah, by the way, I printed this and had it framed, and now I'm going to shatter it over my knee. Something weird.
Probably.
Yep.
That was great, yeah. And that pissed off Al. He took out his mouth guard and put it, where does he put it? He puts it somewhere disgusting. I think it's in his waistband, and yelled back at Jimmy. I mean, we've seen Jimmy or Al Horford get pissed off with Giannis Antetokounmpo in the playoffs before. He's underrated, like trash talker good at jaw jacking. I thought the better moment, even though that was hilarious, was Jimmy Butler drawing a foul on Grant Williams and then pointing at his ass, like pointing directly to him and, mocking him because it wasn't a foul. He drew that foul, and that's why you can also hate the Miami Heat. I mean, they do some flopping. That first quarter, Kyle Lowry fouls Jaylen Brown. They're just smart foulers. Gets away with it. He would have got away with a charge if there wasn't a challenge. And then Jimmy Butler drew that air foul on Grant Williams. They're tough, but they also have that reputation of being tough, and they use it to their advantage with the referees. And so that was funny. After what happened in Game 2 with Grant Williams, who I'm good with what he did. Looking back at the series, at least there was some physical play by somebody on this team, and he had a good game in this one. I mean, he was at least showed up, while some of the other guys did not. He's not the idiot, even though it was a rough game too.
Do you believe the Celtics can extend the series on Tuesday night, or is it a wrap after what you saw in Game 3 here? And that they will just roll over and die. And the Heat will continue to, obviously, just the snowball will get bigger and bigger in them believing, like, we're getting our revenge and we're going to now sweep their ass.
Interesting question. I do have confidence that the Celtics can win one game here, that the Miami Heat may be gentlemen's and let them win Game 4 because Jimmy would maybe like to eliminate them in Boston.
That's how diabolical he is.
Yeah, Boston did it to Miami in Miami last year, so this is the thing he's been holding in his back pocket. You can win Game 4 because I would love to have a 50-point closeout game in the Garden.
Take it one step further. Maybe Jimmy will allow the Celtics to win Games 4, 5, and 6, so he can get the ultimate revenge, winning Game 7.
He's making the pull-up 3 this time.
Yes, right.
I love it.
What about you? I mean, you called it last series when you said the Sixers lost Game 6. And you said that one is over. There's no chance they're winning now Game 7. What's Tass's vibe on this one? Can they give us Game 5?
Oh no, this is over. This is totally over. The Heat did a good job in round 1 of the Milwaukee Bucks closing it out when they should have. The Knicks did win one elimination game in round 2, but that was in New York. I wish I saw this kind. Wish I called the Heat. I didn't call the Heat. I know you called the Heat in this series. They had what they had going on from the beginning of the playoffs, from their play-in game, and it's rolled. And so this is over. I don't think the Heat take their foot off the pedals. It doesn't seem like that type of team.
No, for sure. There has never been a season where both conference finals have ended in sweeps, and of course that's in play if the Nuggets can close it out tonight and if the Heat can do that on Tuesday night. Everybody's got the question going around right now. Which team, Lakers or Celtics, more likely to become the first team in NBA history to come back from 3-0? You see the poll.
I saw the poll. I saw a poll like that, and I was thankful that it included 4 choices. Both and neither, because I voted neither, because it's Jover and it's Yover.
Yeah. The better question is maybe which team, Lakers or Celtics, could force a Game 5, could extend the series. neither of these teams, of course, are winning this damn thing and becoming the first team. Would you say it's 0 for 149 right now for teams down 3-0?
How many teams have taken it to 7 games?
It's like 4?
3.
3. Okay.
Yeah.
So even that's very, very rare.
That is extremely rare. 3 of 149. How many teams have taken it to 5 games? Who knows?
It's something like 2/3 of them have ended in a sweep when you're down 3-0. So it's a hell of a lot that just end in 4, which I think a lot of people right now think is in play for both of these conferences. This one and the one that we'll get to in a second when we get over to the West. Any other thoughts, though, on Boston's shitty performance, on the Heat continuing to impress, and when you really zoom out and go, my God, this team got killed by the Hawks in the first play-in game. This team was going to lose to Trey Kirby's Bulls in the second play-in game.
Yeah, Zach amen to usually a no buffs tweeter. I was tweeting last night that all of this comes down to DeMar DeRozan failing to pull his daughter out of school for the second play-in game. She won the game against the Raptors.
Right.
It was a close game in the fourth quarter. Could have used some screaming during the free throws. Instead, Max Strus caught fire, and suddenly the Miami Heat are going to be in the NBA Finals. What? We watched the whole regular season for nothing? And this team is going to be in the NBA Finals?
What a run.
Great line in the AP recap. The Heat encourage fans to wear white to playoff games, and Jason Tatum also arrived in an all-white suit. Was he rooting for the Heat?
Yeah.
Played like it.
Yeah, he had a bad
Stinky.
game. Oh, man. Both of those guys, both of their all-NBA superstars, they picked the wrong game to both be garbage because they were both terrible. But the ball, it's not moving from side to side. It never goes inside against the zone, to the paint. You've got Robert Williams, who should be the perfect guy, in the dunker spot against the zone. This is the part where I do go back to Mazzulla. And then his stars, what are you, this is wild. You saw zone in high school. The signs of the zone were usually the team's not very good defensively. They're small. You can exploit it. And we used to always say, the zone doesn't work in the NBA. These guys are too good as shooters. They're too good at penetrating. You can just destroy it. But the way they're playing it and the way the Celtics are just they just settle so much.
Yes.
It's they get the ball, they look at the zone, and they go, well, okay, maybe one pass and then somebody shoot a 3.
They're like, zone, we got to shoot 3s to beat it. I got a 3 ready for you. They're shooting 29% from 3 this series. 47 for the Miami Heat.
Yeah, but with respect to the Heat closeouts during every single play.
The zone is great.
Yeah.
They are playing
into garbage time. These guys were closing out.
Well, that's the other part where we would always say, the zone doesn't really work in the NBA because you can get a bunch of 18-year-old, 19-year-old college kids to play their asses off with a barking coach. But at the NBA professional level, guys making 20, 25 million, it's we'll play some zone for a couple of possessions. We're not playing it all game because we got to try hard in zone. But that's what Spoelstra has these guys doing, and obviously led by Jimmy and all these guys that just bust their ass in rotating and helping and talking and like you said, closing it up. Anytime Tatum does try and drive, it's just collapses on him. It's pretty impressive. It's been sort of fun to watch that. But this is our first really bad game of the conference finals.
Yes.
In terms of a blowout.
At least Lakers Nuggets game 3 was pretty entertaining.
Yeah, it was entertaining. Though Denver took care of business, and we're gonna get to that in a second.
Also, didn't the Heat say that for Tyler Herro to return, it would have to be an NBA Finals appearance?
Yeah.
Well,
that was a long time ago that he got hurt, so it's getting close.
And we all were like, oh, that's cute.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
Season's
great.
over
See you
for
next
Tyler.
year, buddy. Yeah, because we didn't think they would be in the NBA Finals. I was going to say, if we have a week of shows to fill, an entire show, I was going to have the question ready to go, should the Miami Heat bring back Tyler Herro if he's healthy? Should they, Tass? And we could do 45 minutes on that.
Well, it's interesting because I think Gabe Vincent has been great as a starter for the Miami Heat, and I think the fact that there are no bad defenders playing for Miami is a big part of the reason they've put together this streak. You're going to want Tyler Herro back on the court in the NBA Finals just because you want the depth. But, forecasting too far ahead. I don't mind Gabe Vincent sticking in the starting lineup and guarding Jamal Murray. They're going to need somebody to do the ball pressure thing, and wouldn't be a problem having Tyler Herro come off the bench. The guy won 6th Man of the Year. He can give you 20, 25 in a reserve role as well, getting up to speed. So they might be getting better somehow and more healthy as the playoffs goes on.
Wild stuff. All right, yeah, maybe we're looking too far ahead, but you know that'll be a question in the coming days. Tyler Herro, he's healthy. He's ready to go. Should he play? That's the big decision from Spoelstra. Okay, let's take a break. When we come back, we'll get into the Western Conference Finals and the Game 3 that we saw over the weekend.
Our next partner is a classic. Let's talk about Athletic Greens. If you're looking to get better gut health, more energy, or a stronger immune system in a really easy, natural way, you gotta check out Athletic Greens. Nobody wants to take a bunch of pills of vitamins in the morning, but with Athletic Greens, it's all good. You can get rid of all those extra vitamin bottles and finally make some room in your cabinet. Cabinet space at a premium everywhere I've been. How do you fill up cabinets so quickly when you move somewhere? Doesn't even make sense. But Athletic Greens is an all-in-one solution that actually tastes good. You're gonna enjoy getting your daily vitamins. With one delicious scoop of Athletic Greens, you're absorbing 75 high-quality vitamins, minerals, whole food-sourced superfoods, probiotics, and adaptogens to help you start your day right. This special blend of ingredients supports your gut health, your nervous system, your immune system, your energy, recovery, focus, and aging. It's lifestyle friendly, whether you're keto, paleo, vegan, dairy-free, or gluten-free. And Athletic Greens contains less than 1 gram of sugar, no GMOs, nasty chemicals, or artificial anything, while still tasting good. How do they do it? How do they do it? You want to find out? Go reclaim your health and arm your immune system with convenient daily nutrition. Just 1 scoop in a cup of water every day, that's it. No need for a million different pills and supplements to look out for your health. To make it easy, Athletic Greens is going to give you a free 1-year supply of immune-supporting vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. All you have to do is visit athleticgreens.com/nodunks. That's athleticgreens.com/nodunks to take ownership over your health and pick up the ultimate daily nutritional insurance.
This episode is also brought to you by Philo. There's nothing better than unwinding and watching a little TV. VPR, RHOA, SH, that's Summer House. But the hassle of finding what to watch and a costly cable bill just isn't worth it. That's why more and more people are cutting the cord. Snip, snip. If you love TV, Philo is your solution. Philo has shows, movies, and live TV for just $25 a month. No contracts, no commitments, no hassle. Just a better way to watch TV. And check this, Philo has an unlimited DVR for 1 year, so you can save all of your favorite shows and watch them on your own schedule. You know how convenient that is during the NBA playoffs?
It's actually
when there's so many games, 40 games in 40 nights and all that, but you got all these other shows you want to watch? Well, you record it, watch it when you can, maybe a little afternoon viewing. Philo also allows for multiple profiles and multiple streams, so everyone in the house can have their own saved shows and up to 3 streams going at once, simultaneously. Say goodbye to fighting over who gets to pick what to watch. That used to be a thing. I used to have full-on arguments with my sister about what we're watching. Crazy. It's like I want to watch the game, or she wants to watch
tape America's Funniest Home
TGIF.
Videos, okay?
Yeah. Wild. You don't know how good you have it now. If you can't get enough TV, then there's no better way to watch. Philo has more than 70 channels like BET, VH1, AMC, and Vice. Vice. They got Storage Wars. Yup! Remember Storage Wars?
They got Storage Wars? They haven't opened every single storage unit in America yet?
No.
Wow.
Still going through them.
Salute to the soldiers.
Man. I like when they would always convince themselves they found something of value. This is going to be worth something. No, it's not. And like City TV, Philo is everywhere. That's for you Canadians. You can watch from your phone, your laptop, tablet, or TV. We're talking Roku, Fire TV, Apple TV, Samsung, Android TV. It's easy to use and hilariously easy to sign up. With Philo, you can start watching in seconds for less money, and like I said, less hassle. So try it yourself with their 7-day free trial. Sign up today at philo.tv. That's philo.tv. shopify.tv and use the promo code NODUNKS to get 50% off your first month. All right, let's get to the Western Conference. The Nuggets are on the brink of the NBA Finals. They win Game 3, 119-108 over the Lakers. It was a little closer maybe than that final score says. It was entertaining, like Trey said earlier, but what do you think from this one?
Well, a totally different game here where Jamal Murray comes out scorching hot. He's got 30 in the first half. Wow. And then in the third quarter, Darvin Ham says, Dennis Schroeder, just face guard that guy. Do the Steph Curry. Just absolutely take him out of the game. And he was. He didn't score in the third quarter, and then Jokic goes out with 7:24 left with his fourth foul in that third quarter. It looks bleak for the Nuggets. Where are they going to get their offense without Murray scoring, without Jokic on the floor? Aaron Gordon moves over to center at 6'8", so you start to think, okay, is this the LeBron AD time where they're going to take over against the guy who's a small forward, power forward, playing backup center? Well, their depth just showed through. You can get to the conference finals without your 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 guys playing well, but you ain't getting to the finals. This is when Bruce Brown started flying around, banging home threes, and getting offensive rebounds, dishing them out to Michael Porter Jr., who's hitting threes, and then Kentavious Caldwell-Pope. Again, Jokic out for the last part of the third quarter, and KCP hitting tough shots. The Lakers were on him. He hit ridiculously tough shots over Lonnie Walker. He had 12 points in the third quarter just to keep this team afloat. And they had the lead going into the fourth quarter, although we saw Braun hit his first 2 threes of the series. He rattled in and out at the end of the third quarter. It looked like the LeBron train was coming to some degree, but then in the middle of the fourth quarter, these supporting cast players, again, for the Nuggets came through. Jokic apparently drew up a play and said, 1-2, me and you, Murray, and then we're gonna find everybody. It was the start of this 13-0 run was Jeff Green banging home a 3 because Anthony Davis leaving him to go help on Jokic, and then Bruce Brown hitting a 3. The 7th man and the 6th man starting that run, and it was over. The depth took over. Astonishing stuff. Without Jokic having a great first 3 quarters, he came on in the fourth.
Yeah, 15 in the fourth.
Yeah, and really, yeah, he was quiet. Looked like he didn't have it to start this game, but yeah, a great response from him. To just be steady, even though he was in foul trouble, obviously, and took care of business and just set everything up, and apparently was the coach, and got everything going for this Nuggets team. What a show. I mean, we got the 2 best teams going to meet in the finals because obviously you got Bruce Brown and Jeff Green doing what they did. Even LeBron said after the game, even Jeff Green hit a 3. Even that guy. A backhanded dig. But his former teammate. Disrespectful, but they left him, and yeah, they're doing some Heat-like stuff where everybody contributing, obviously.
What'd you see in this Game 3?
Just goes to show you, coaching in the NBA is pretty easy. Nikola Jokic went into the huddle and said, let's have the 2 best guys have the ball. And the coach was like, hey, man, I love your call. Let's go for it. But, man, the Nuggets are just too good of a team. They've got a great coach in Mike Malone, and they've got another great coach in Nikola Jokic. The Lakers can keep one of their stars down for 3 quarters of a game, and the other star is going to go off, is basically what it feels like right now. I kind of thought they were doing a good job guarding Jokic through 3 quarters of this one. The Rui Hachimura thing was working. We didn't see as much LeBron on on Jokic, so you're thinking he'll have some legs going into the fourth quarter. But then Michael Malone finally made the call. Sorry, Aaron Gordon. You standing around ain't working for us. They're leaving you open, and he's a much more hesitant shooter than even Jeff Green is. So when they went to the lineup that was Murray, Brown, MPJ, Jeff Green, and Jokic, playmaking everywhere, shooting everywhere. They're a lot faster, and the Lakers couldn't make them pay on the other end, having those guys out there. Nuggets are just a lot better than the Lakers are, because as this game went on, you saw that the Lakers have basically 5.5 guys who can play in this series. The Vanderbilt starting does not help. D'Angelo Russell, another terrible game. But somehow those guys still get minutes. They should maybe play like 3 or 5 minutes, I think, going forward in this one last game we got here. But other than that, it's going to be Dennis Schroeder, maybe a little Lonnie Walker, then Reeves, LeBron, Rui, and AD. But it just feels like the Lakers don't have enough to play with this Nuggets team.
Yeah, listen to this. Only 4 Lakers have proven to be sort of reliable on both ends. LeBron, Anthony Davis, Reeves, and Rui Hachimura. Those 4 players have combined to score just under 82% of all the Lakers' points in this series. So those 4 guys, been pretty good. But yeah, they are searching desperately for any 5th or 6th or 7th player to try and keep up with this Nuggets depth with their starters, their stars, and then the compost crew coming off the bench. In watching this game too, I know LeBron had a great box score. Like, for anyone else, this is awesome. 23 points, 12 assists, 7 boards. Very solid. But he missed 11 and 19 shots. He missed 4-6 in the fourth quarter. And it is tough not to see this game and LeBron in this series and go, have we officially reached a new sort of phase of his career? The mortal era for LeBron, where he can no longer just completely take over a game. LeBron of 3 or 4 years ago, obviously even further ago, takes over this game. He was stretches in the fourth quarter outside of, getting finally a couple threes to go. He just was not involved and couldn't really do anything. And maybe it's the lingering foot issue. Maybe it's because he had to do too much heavy lifting earlier in the season to get this team, back up the standings into the playoffs. Maybe it's because he's played 65,000 plus minutes in his NBA career when you take into consideration the playoffs. It's a lot of minutes. But that's where we're at now. And that's, I'm not saying LeBron sucks. Oh my God. Of course, this happens to all of them, but it is I don't know. It's almost unsettling. It's it makes me question my own age, where I'm at. Cause it's damn, this ain't GOAT LeBron anymore because he's obviously much, much older. He can do it probably at times for a game or two, but not series. It's over. That part of LeBron's career.
You see this ant here on the table? Mm-hmm. It looks like a king ant. It's not dying. I slapped it a few times, but it's still got life. You see it?
Yeah.
It's still got some life. LeBron.
Is that ant LeBron?
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
LeBron won't die, but he ain't the same. He's still out there. He tried to shoot his way back into this game. Yes, I mentioned those 2 threes at the end of the third quarter. Those were his first threes of the series, late in the third quarter of Game 3, and then he missed that shot going into the third quarter buzzer that would have tied the game. But he can't take over.
But
that's why I mentioned Aaron Gordon.
That's a win for the Nuggets every time. LeBron obviously pulls up and takes a 3. The way he's been shooting from 3, which has been garbage until he hit a couple finally. And
Aaron Gordon was the guy on the other side in that third quarter when Jokic went to the bench, and this was their time to seize the game. But forget about the Lakers. It's the Nuggets just playing amazingly well, having the best players in this series. You could argue that they have the 2 best players in this series over Anthony Davis. Although Anthony Davis's numbers are big because of that Game 1 40-point job. He's come back down to earth. D'Angelo Russell, they needed to have a 20-point game.
Yeah.
And he's had 21 combined through the first 3 games of the series. He just needed one. Just one, because you roll with it. And we just talked about Tyler Herro not coming back. The D'Angelo Russell as a free agent. Herro's got a contract. D'Angelo Russell is a free agent this offseason, so that's a huge question mark for them. They just needed somebody to hit some shots, and that's why Darvin Ham rolls with them, because he's just hoping. He's just hoping we're going to get a third quarter 3 straight threes like we've seen the first couple rounds.
Probably.
Because they need somebody, and that's why he's rolling with Lonnie Walker. But the other team is just on frickin' fire. You get games like what I mentioned, KCP's 12 points in that third quarter. Dude had 21 in Game 1, 17 in Game 3. That's phenomenal stuff from a supporting guy like that. So they're just getting it from everywhere.
People are already wondering, was this the greatest Nuggets win in franchise history? I already had done my list, and then I heard Bill Simmons also do it this morning, but I'm going to do it anyway because I think it is, because it's a short list. I only have 3 games that come to mind when we talk about the Denver Nuggets in the NBA and their greatest postseason victories. Game 7 win over the Clippers in the 2020 bubble to go to the Western Conference Finals. Jamal Murray had 40 points in that game. Jokic, 16, 22, and 13. Big win. It's in the bubble.
Capped off the 3-1 comeback.
Yes, right. Game 2 win over the Lakers in the 2009 Western Conference Finals when they were there. Melo. So fitting that he's actually retired today. But that tied the series at 1-1. That was in LA. That's a big road victory. Melo and Billups combined for 61 points in that game. Kleza, who I think we just saw at the EuroLeague Final Four championship game.
He's hanging.
He was looking great, by the way. Hasn't aged at all. He hit 4 threes off the bench. He was a plus 16 in that Game 2 victory in the Western Conference Finals. He was huge in that game. And that tied it at 1-1. Obviously, the Lakers went on to win and went to the title. And then Game 5 of the 94 first-round series versus the Sonics. First time we ever had an 8th seed knock off a number 1 seed. The iconic Mutombo shot where he's got the ball on the ground. Robert Pack, the hero in that game, 23 points off the bench. Denver lost the first 2 games of that series, won the next 3. That's when it was best of 5 back in 94. Sonics were a 63-win team, and the Nuggets were like maybe a sub 500 team. They may have been 40 and 42. So yeah, those are the 3.
Those are the 3.
Yeah, unless you can think of something else.
I was watching the game on the NBA app yesterday, and whenever they go to commercial, they basically just show big games from the team's franchise history or from a particular player's history. Like after Jamal's big game 2, they start showing every Jamal game, and that's how you know the franchise's biggest games. They just show you the monstrous games, the noteworthy games, and they showed Jamal's game 7 from the bubble for sure, of course, because he was scorching it. Yeah, you just got to write that down. I'll just watch it tonight. Is it tonight? Yeah, I'll just make a list. Done.
Okay, great.
Yeah, easy.
Anything else, guys?
Oh yeah, we got
Lakers
good random moments in this game, including LeBron trucking Scott Foster, bloodying his leg.
Yes, I forgot about that.
Scott Foster putting his body on the line the way the best do in the playoffs. Even got a mic'd up segment with him a little bit later talking to LeBron. You've been waiting to do that 25 years.
I laughed at that.
I like how LeBron was
Bars
pissed.
by Scott Foster, unfortunately. LeBron thought he had a dunk.
Yeah.
He definitely had a breakout, but Scotty, right in the way. Right in the way. I guess he's a Nuggets fan. Also great, Austin Reeves had another really good game in this one. What did he finish with? 23 points. I think he was cooking. And Mark Jackson at one point goes, "This just in. Austin Powers." That was the whole line. This just in. From 1997. Austin Powers.
I couldn't tell if he said Austin Powered.
I don't know.
Maybe,
I mean, even
maybe.
Okay, that's a little better.
That's
but still,
a little creativity,
This
but not
just
much.
in.
Yeah.
That was great. And then Bruce Brown, when he hit that huge 3 in the fourth quarter, right to the Lakers bench, hit him with a 3 freeze celebration in their faces.
Yeah.
You're getting celebrated back in this year's playoffs. Bruce Brown versus Jimmy Butler. Those guys are going to be jawing in the finals. That'll be fun to watch.
Oh, we've had some Nuggets Heat confrontations before too. Did we not get the legendary Heat photo from these two teams?
Yeah, they wanted to fight them.
They're all in the back.
In the back?
Yeah.
That's exactly right. There was a Morris twin got blasted by Jokic.
Yeah.
Remember?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Oh my goodness.
Run it back.
And they say ratings are going to be bad? Not on our watch. That's the narrative we're rolling with. Nuggets Heat hate each other. Yeah, I would add the only other random note. I did like when Kitchener's finest, Jamal Murray, was cooking in that first half. We're sort of like glossing over that because he didn't do a lot in the second half. But 30 points after 24 minutes. He had Adele questioning life. She was like, This is epic. What am I watching here? I love that shot. She was like flabbergasted. Does this guy ever miss? Because up until that point, he hadn't.
Yeah, she's like, "Hey, Rich, sign that guy."
Do we have that guy?
Okay,
Rich
who
Paul,
is this?
do we have this guy? Does Adele like basketball? Like, is she an NBA sicko? That's all I kept thinking.
She goes to a lot of games.
I know,
Yeah.
but I'm like, is it just to be seen?
Something
Obviously,
to
it
do.
is with Rich, but I'm like, maybe is she a hoop head? Do we know this? Has anybody asked her?
Do people forget that Adele is a bucket?
Does she have a favorite team? I mean, I assume it's LeBron. Like, I guess.
Yeah, she's a Lakers fan.
Yeah, right.
She's
Okay.
got a residency in Las Vegas. Maybe she's going to help Bron bring a team to Las Vegas.
Oh wow.
And she'll be at every game.
There is some news, possibly heading into Game 4 tonight. Lakers center Mo Bamba. He hasn't played since the first round of the playoffs against the Grizzlies, thanks to a left ankle injury. I believe he's been cleared and is expected to go. I think that's what the word was. I think Woj said originally Games 4 or 5, and then I think, correct me if I'm wrong, I feel like Sham says that he is, or no, it was Chris Haynes saying he could play tonight. Mo Bamba.
Cool. Nice.
There's some sort of, can
All right.
Mo Bamba give us number 5, game number 5.
Nice.
Mambo number 5.
not
Bamba
terrible.
number 5.
Sorry.
There's something there.
Sorry, it's Jamal hours. We're closing the mall early.
man.
The mall is closed.
Yeah, Bamba number 5. There's no way he plays.
No.
Why would you do that? A guy, not because he's Mo Bamba, but game 4 of an elimination game, you don't bring a guy in to try and get his legs in an elimination
Right.
game.
You're a little desperate, though. I mean, will we see Darvin Ham just straight up start, Rui, start Schroeder,
definitely
go
possible.
away from Russell, go away from Vanderbilt.
He should.
Yeah. He probably should.
Yes.
It's just who finishes
think it
games.
matters.
That's the worrisome part.
Right.
That's all right. They only got one left, man. They can play 48. That's how you do it in the playoffs when you're going to lose. Just ask all the Bulls from back in the day.
Do you believe it ends tonight?
No.
You don't.
I don't know, man. I don't know. Backs against the wall, gentleman's sweep. It's hard to pull off an actual sweep against a team. The Lakers are at home. You have to imagine that they want to give their fans, they want to give Adele something to sing about. Am I right? But also LeBron would probably be happy to start his vacation and get his son ready to be playing for USC come fall time. I think we're going to have to hear, or we will hear from LeBron about how bad his injury is actually after the season, because the guy was averaging like 33 points a game during the middle of the season when he was going for the record. But as the people in the stream team were mentioning, Ant's on the table not doing well.
No, I crushed this.
Yeah,
Ant.
so it may be over for the Lakers as well.
But I had to hit it like 10 times. So
okay.
maybe we got game 4. Victory. Game 5. What do you got, Ant? What do you got? You got another game in you? He's still wiggling.
As soon
life
as
in
the
this
Nuggets, now you're just throwing it around.
Well, it's
okay.
dead.
As soon as the Nuggets take care of this, be it tonight, be it in game 5, LeBron is going to say right away, I'm getting foot surgery.
They told me I needed surgery before the
It's
playoffs.
guaranteed. He'll say it in the post-game press conference. I mean, I wish I
Yeah,
can
of
I
course
bet
he will.
on that?
That's-
Yeah.
It's like when he lost the finals and came out with his wrist wrap. suddenly.
Exactly. Here's just a weird fact, too, about the Lakers as a franchise. They've never forced a game 5 when they're in this position. They're 0-8. Lakers franchise history. Down 3-0. Never even give us a game 5. Can they make history tonight? That's weird.
Can they make history? Well, I saw a lot of people were comparing it to the two-time champion Lakers going up against the Dallas Mavericks in the 2011 playoffs.
Bynum taking
Barea.
out JJ Barea.
Yes.
Yeah.
So watch your ribs, Bruce.
Yeah, Mo Bamba. He's going to come in and do that.
Yeah, maybe he'll play.
All right. So let's hear from everybody out there. Who extends their conference finals? None of them? Or both of them? Or one of these teams in the historic Lakers or Celtics? Let us know in the stream team right now. We're going to take one more quick break. We'll throw some salt on that ant. Try and bring it back to life. Does that only work for bees?
That works for bees?
Is it sugar or salt now? I can't remember. It definitely works.
I've never tried to bring back an insect.
Yeah, I've seen Ken do it.
I'm like, sorry, it's over.
Ken did it with a bee once. I can't remember if it's salt or sugar, whatever. We'll take a break, and when we come back, tweet of the night.
Hold on. Timeout. I get the Shopify ad read after what Jimmy Butler's done to Boston? Ooh, that's the sound of Butler clowning another Boston Celtic. Whether he's staring down Grant Williams, paying back Al Horford, or just completing another big face coffee sale, Jimmy is hearing that sound a lot these days. Shopify is the commerce platform revolutionizing millions of businesses worldwide. Whether you're selling mini baseball bats or mini baseball helmets, Shopify simplifies selling online and in person so you can focus on successfully growing your business. Shopify covers every sales channel from an in-person POS system to an all-in-one e-commerce platform. It even lets you sell across social media marketplaces like TikTok, Facebook, and Instagram. Packed with industry-leading tools, Shopify gives you complete control over your business and keeps it simple, like a big face coffee logo. You don't have to learn any new skills in design or code. And thanks to 24/7 help and an extensive business course library, Shopify is there to support your success every step of the way. Jimmy Butler started small too, started on Shopify. Now he's selling t-shirts for $75. Come on, Jimmy. It's a little too much, don't you think? Oh, I see a dad hat for $40. Okay, maybe. might pull the trigger on that. No matter how big you want to grow, Shopify is there to empower you with the confidence and control to take your business to the next level. Now it's your turn to get serious about selling and try Shopify today. This is Possibility, powered by Shopify. Sign up for a $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/nodunks. All lowercase. Go to shopify.com/nodunks to take your business to the next level today. Shopify.com/nodunks.
Yeah, it's sugar. I believe a teaspoon of sugar can help bring back a bee. Revive a bee. Ken did it once up on his rooftop patio.
Yeah, you killed a lot of bees up there.
Not proud of it. Shouldn't be killing bees.
Yeah, they're
I was a monster.
endangered.
I was a monster when I was younger.
You were, man.
Yeah.
You were the best I ever knew.
But he did
John
bring
Wick
it.
of
He
bees.
just poured a bunch of sugar on it once that had been like stunned and looked sort of dead. And we just like left it, and then sure enough, this guy like just came out of this sugar pile and was like, "Yeah."
That's amazing.
Well, we got a
That's
coffee.
actually amazing.
We got it. So it
I don't
started
think it works
flying.
for ants.
Well, there's coffee. There's a coffee machine right over there. There's sugar. This ant has
Tess
got
now
a
has
life.
the ant sitting on his laptop.
Yeah, it's not done.
Oh, wow.
We're gonna bring this ant back.
Okay.
I did.
Come on,
I
Ant-Man.
googled it as well about bringing bees back to life, and I found one important tip: never feed bees honey, and don't try to force the bee to drink. You better have a sip of that sugar water. Never force a bee to drink sugar water.
I've told you the story. My old high school
take an ant
basketball
to
coach
water.
used to drink sugar water. Mr. Nye, rest in peace. That was his drink.
Just sugar water.
Yeah.
Simple
I mean,
syrup.
it was for a reason. Okay, let's get to tweet of the night.
Tweet of the night. Wow.
All right. Our tweet of the night is from @Mike Vorkanoff. The Athletic writer had a tweet that went around this weekend. It says, quote, "The NBA is considering changes to the format of the All-Star game to try to increase competitiveness, sources tell me in Shams, including a return to the East versus West format there, among other options." So there's an article on this from Vorkanoff and Shams. The NBA and the Players Association agreeing in recent months to have these talks about increasing competitiveness in the All-Star game. Prior to 2018, we used to do East versus West. But now we got the draft. We've just done the captains. We did it right before the game. We just might be going back to the old school.
How'd they come up with this one?
East, West. Yeah, any thoughts on this?
At first, I thought, "Oh, this is news, I guess." But this just sounds like, hey, competitiveness just ain't there. They ain't trying anymore. Let's talk about it. I don't think there's really anything concrete good that will come of this in terms and just these options. That's not going to bring back competitiveness, is it?
You don't think
going back to
guys
what,
are really gonna dig in on the defensive end of an All-Star game because they got Eastern Conference on their jersey?
Yeah, I don't even know.
Eastern Conference brethren.
I think more of a potential competitive game would be born from USA versus the world. You got so many damn good international players now.
That's been
All the
kicked around.
MVPs. But I don't even know. I don't even know if that's it. It's if the players want to do it.
There
Really.
you go. Doesn't matter the format. It does not matter because my guess is you could go back to 2018 and find a tweet that says the NBA is looking at ways to increase competitiveness
yeah.
for the All-Star game. They're considering a player draft.
And it worked.
Once.
For a bit.
Once for one quarter.
That one quarter when they brought in the Elam ending as well.
Yeah.
Nothing will change until the players decide we want this to be a competitive game, and there is no incentive for it to be a competitive game.
Right.
So I don't know. Let's just change it every few years. Get people talking about it is basically what it boils down to. The game will never be good, but that's fine because we are adults. We know that that's the case. As long as kids are having fun, who cares?
Yeah.
So
If we go
don't
back-
cancel it, I think is. A lot of people are saying just cancel this thing.
No, I
if
hate
this is
that.
the idea, then we should just name the teams and don't play the game. Play the game. Let it be boring, and you as a person who is critical thinking skills and can decide what you want to watch something else,
Right.
and kids can have fun watching this game.
Yeah. If we go back to this, East versus West, please, like, just go back to everyone wearing their own jerseys. We love those photos from back in the day instead of the East and West jerseys, which are always pretty boring nowadays anyway. You got one black team, you got one white team. Let's just go to, like, okay, you wear your whites, we'll wear our colored road jerseys and let's do it like that. It looks cool.
Maybe that's why they're thinking about going back to East-West, because nobody wants the current jerseys.
Yeah, they're not selling enough. Who knows?
Because East-West, at least it's traditional, I guess. Like you'd probably sell more jerseys.
I was wondering this potential decision to do this. Anything to do with LeBron coming up to the end of his career? He's been the captain for 6 years running now? Like, it's going to be over soon. He will be eventually out of the league, and it's like, once LeBron's gone, will this be as fun? I don't know. I was just thinking that. Like, maybe they're like, just go back to the normal way. No more captains for a couple years. I don't know.
Who else has been captains? Curry, Durant, Giannis.
Yep.
Is that it?
I think so.
I think so. This guy can handle it.
Is that it? Yeah, I think you're right. Wow. Because it's been LeBron, whatever conference he's in.
Yeah.
And then the other guys from the other sides. Yeah. All right, let's hear if people care or not about this. Go back to the East-West. You want USA versus World? Do you want to get rid of it? Are you a curmudgeon?
Yeah, maybe players didn't like being drafted. Didn't like that idea. And that changed it. Because that was a whole weird thing.
Well, then they had to protect everyone's feelings.
I totally forgot about the reserves getting drafted first, so we wouldn't know who was the last reserve picked.
Awesome. And then, as Mark Jackson said during the Western Conference Finals here, he said Jokic got picked last. He was a starter. And then he actually got up before Larry Markkinen, who was also a starter. So he wasn't really picked last, but he kind of was picked last. But he wasn't picked last at all because he was a starter anyway.
Why don't we make the lottery version of the NBA All-Star Game? Put all their names on a little ping pong ball, throw it in a machine, pull them out.
Sure.
Just random.
Have Jeff Probst do it. Put all their names in a bag. You draw your buff. You got to play in a buff.
There you go.
Split it up. Get to your mats. Come on in, LeBron.
Which NBA All-Star would be most likely to wear their buff like a tube top?
It's Jimmy B. Obviously.
Jimmy, definitely Jimmy. Yeah, he loves a cutoff shirt.
Yeah. All right, good tweet there from Mike, Vorkanoff. And go get yourself an athletic subscription. Go to theathletic.com/no-dunks. Let's call it there, but before we do, how is Ada doing? Your little girl who almost broke her arm?
Yeah, it goes down in the record books as a broken bone, according to the doctor's assessments. Technically a fractured ulna, so a small crack in her wrist bone. She's in a soft cast now for maybe a week, and then we'll see what's happening on Friday. But we were happy to dodge a hard cast for the entirety of summer. We might be back in action next week.
And this news broke during the playback.
This arm broke during playback, indeed.
Yes,
I think it was about second quarter of Real Madrid versus Barcelona.
Yeah, and I was going to say thanks to everybody that joined us on Friday, these two guys, for that semifinal game, or Tass and I on Sunday's very entertaining final. Well, unfortunate for you that Olympiacos, I guess, didn't come through in the end, but a 1-point game. Yeah, you're a giant fan.
It was a great game.
Yeah.
It was a great game, yeah. Chacho doing it again. Sergio Rodriguez leading his team. Then the other Sergio Yule hitting the game-winning shot to become the all-time leader in Final Four scoring history.
What a shot, too.
Good stuff.
Guy didn't do anything all game. Barely had played all that much. Hits the game-winning shot in the championship game. Game-winning shit. That's what Trey had before we went live on the air.
I think this was actually a pretty solid show. Sorry, JD, but I got a new part of my morning routine.
Trey just dropped
I'll light a candle.
Hey, I'm glad we got it in, though. I'm glad we made sure to address it in the podcast.
It's lingering. Maybe that's what killed the ant. Maybe it wasn't Tess. Or maybe it was FaZe. It was stumbling around.
That's why it's so easy to get.
All right, guys. We'll call it there. Enjoy Game 4 of the Western Conference Finals tonight. We will be back tomorrow here in the Classic Factory live at 10 a.m. Eastern to talk about it. And probably to talk a little bit about Melo and his career now that he's officially retired, and a whole lot more, I'm sure. So join us then. Until then, Clipper Bros.
You heard it here first. Have a great time. Turn up. Love you guys. Awesome.
Thanks for joining us. And remember, everybody's watching the NBA playoffs, including that kid stepped on Ada's arm. Just watch Draymond Green.
Oh.
Kids learn, man.
They're learning.
Kids learn.
Man, gotta be careful.
Gotta be careful, Draymond.
Embrace the day, people.
Oh, wow, the close-up of the ant. And people mad saying, oh, Tass killed an ant. That thing was crawling up my leg.
Ooh.
What would you do? What would you do? I smacked it 17 times.
R.I.P. Ant.